Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another StarCraft 2 cast with me, the Strict StarCraft, and I once more have a replay from Casted here for you, and this time it's going to be an Archon game between two Terran players, or rather 4 Terran players and 2 Archons. Spotting up here in the top position, it is Theo and Remix. I don't know if those are the full names. Is Theo the full name? I don't know, it makes sense. And in the bottom position, our blue Terran player, it's Trio and Rate. And yeah, these are some good Terran players as well, like GM, Master, and Diamond or something like that. So really good Terran players are going to be showing off what they can do with Archon mode. Of course, Archon mode relies heavily on teamwork and really figuring out what to do and really dividing all the different work that needs to be done between the players. So hopefully these guys know each other and they've played with each other before. So one does the macro, for example, one does the micro. But still, TvT is what it's always been pretty much. It's this chess game, and it's all about positioning with tanks and marines, being really cautious about moving out too quickly. You can run into a tank line if you really mess up or something. So TvT is a lot about positioning and being really cautious. But I can expect some really cool drop action coming in since we now have an Archon mode in our hands. Medivacs from both players, I think, is going to lead to a lot of dropping. And Dusk Towers is a drop friendly map. You got a lot of airspace over the main base, and it's really easy to drop here at the third and then drop into the natural. So a lot of dropping can take place, also perhaps some Banshee usage. But still, yeah, there's the second Geyser coming down now for the red Archon, and no second Geyser yet for Trio and Rate our blue Archon. So who knows, Theo and Remy could be going for Banshee, but there are so many different take openers right now for Terran, like you could rush Liberator tank or something like that, which is a ridiculous one base push that it's killed me multiple times. Like 2 tanks and the Liberator hits you very early and it's difficult to hold off, but since they're both expanding, we're not going to see anything of that sort here. The Reaper from our blue Archon comes in here, gets grenade off, and kills off the first Marine. And this forces our red Archon to pull back their initial Reaper. So some nice damage coming out of here of our blue Archon. And forcing the SVs to be pulled as well. A nice little extra damage. But oh, the surround is real. Now the map vision should go to our red Archon player. Second Reaper coming in. Bombs. Are bombs going to be dropped? No grenades so far. And Trio and Rate, our blue Archons, just running in here, trying to get some more damage and scouting done. But at the same time, a starport and a tech lab is coming down here, with the tech lab, of course, being added on the barracks. This could be for a Banshee later on, or just for Stim or something. But no Stim is being started, so I think this could be for Banshee. The Reaper of our blue Archon unfortunately dies to the Reaper of our red Archon. And yeah, I would not be surprised to see Banshees. A lot of gas is being saved up right now. As we can see, money is being used on Hellions and no gas being used to produce Widow Mines or anything. What's up in Camp Blue? We have a Tech Lab coming down on this starport as well. Are we going to have Banshee versus Banshee perhaps? It's a ping. Oh, and the Hellion is taking heavy fire. Second Hellion as well. Keep in mind, it's still an Archon mode match, so one can devote a lot of time to micro while the other macros. So double cloak coming in here. Both of them, actually, those are so similar in timing. That's sick. So Cloak Banshee versus Cloak Banshee. Who has an NG Bay? Structures. Let's see here. No NG Bay for our red Archon. There's an NG Bay for our blue Archon. So technically, our blue Archon should be favored in this one. They can drop down a turret here or there. Perhaps a turret. Oh, sick. Turret. Yeah, I guess here. And somewhere in the mineral line, yeah. So I'd give the advantage to our blue Archon right now. Let's go to the income tab. They are slightly behind in harvesters, but if they're not going to take any economic damage, then I expect them to be far ahead relatively soon. Both Banshees are now moving out, and they can actually spot each other if they're really unlucky. Oh, yeah, they're going to fly right into each other. Wow. And I don't know if the blue Archon saw it, but they don't need to really. They have a Cyclone and a couple of turrets in position. Oh, that's so sick, pulling back the Cyclone and then locking on as soon as the Banshee gets in here. at the same time, our red Archon is pushing up with a couple of Hellions. There we go, the Cyclone locks on, and the Banshee has nowhere to run. Scan. No scan available, I suppose. There we go, there's the scan, and the Marines are gonna clean up the... No, they don't get it. Oh, that's so unfortunate. But now, our blue Archon is coming in here, but there is already a turret in position. But unfortunately, it is not covering this entire mineral line, so the Banshee can get to work, killing off a few SCVs, forcing them to pull away as well, denying these 2 mineral patches, basically, from being mined from. Now goes into the main to do some scouting and perhaps find some more damage, as our red Archon tries to push up, but a lot of Marines and a tank now are in position to deal with that. Should be no problem for Trio and Wraith. Oh, but this turret is so out of position. That's... Oh, only getting the 1 turret. That's a bit greedy, I think. I would like to see a second one come up in the mineral line, or perhaps here. Somewhere around these pots. And now Cloak as well, so no Marine fire is going to be taken. But the Raven comes out, and that's all he needs as far as detection goes. The Marines number is getting lowered, and the Marines are now all dead. Flies into the turret and the auto turret, and they do together clean that up. Third base now being dropped from our blue Archon, but it's sort of late. Third base is already done for our red Archon, and they're starting their 4th right now. So I would still... I don't know, let's check at the income. It's 44 to 39, so our red Archon is still slightly ahead in the income tab. And since they have that third base, they do have triple mule already. But Trio and Wraith are moving out, and their armor supply is slightly behind the one of Theo and Remy. But if they set up a nice container here with the tank, 2 tanks actually. If they set up a nice container, they can deny that third base, all the while getting their own third base up and running, and therefore sort of even out the income game right now. Theo and Remy are dropping a scan to see what's going on here, and they do spot everything that is happening downstairs, so they're like, okay, we gotta chill out. We have a Viking, that is great air superiority, unless the Cyclone comes in here and cleans everything up. It's a bit of a ballsy move to move up here, but at the same time, Theo and Remy are really low on army, and the tanks down here are doing a great job of zoning this off. So just a ton of damage coming in, and their 4th base is going to be cancelled, and that's a very nice pickup for our blue Archon. Is it going to be cancelled, or is it going to die? No, they actually keep it alive for now. Oh, that could be huge if they manage to save that. Third base is chilling out, floating around as well. Tanks, though, dealing a ton of damage from the low ground. And I think this tank is in range of the 4th base. If you could just get a couple more shots in on that, you could pick that off. But no, the tank's back here, denying the Marines from ever moving up once more. And there we go, the 4th base has been saved, and he's going to keep on working on that. But the auto turret coming in, he's going to focus down the SCV. The SCV is dead, but it's not quite enough. Keep in mind, buildings that are not done cannot catch on fire, so... And it's going to burn immediately now, but he's going to start repairing it. Oh, the Raven comes in once more. He's got enough for an auto turret, but the tank's doing a nice job of cleaning that one up. That was really, really unfortunate for our blue Archon. They could have gained a lot from killing off the 4th base, but they're still not doing bad. I mean, they're up and running on their 3rd base. A really nice move, I think, from our blue Archon, allowing them to get their own 3rd base up and running, and they should be ahead in income. Yeah, slightly ahead. They managed to take a lead in the harvest account as well, so all looking mighty fine for our blue Terran. And remember, once more, this is an Archon mode match. That's why they managed to saturate the 3rd base so nicely, all the while attacking. There are 2 players controlling this, not just 1. So this looks like a super high level TvT, basically, with top Koreans playing, mainly because there are 2 players that are really good controlling everything. Nice tank positioning here from our red Archon. Raven giving some high ground vision, but still the tanks are falling quickly to the already sieged up tanks of our red Archon. Oh, can you pick it up? That would be so sick, but no. Seeker missiles do not kill off tanks, though. They only deal 100 damage. And the Banshee's coming in as well, and the tank count has been reduced so heavily. It went from like 5 tanks to 1 super duper quickly, so a very nice hold from our red Terran player. I don't think they lost anything, and as you can see, they've evened up the units lost. I do think that favored our blue Terran a lot more earlier. Now another drop coming in from Trio and Wraith. They're looking to go into the natural, I suppose. Is this getting spotted? No, I don't think that was spotted at all by our blue Archon. There's the scan, and this is just a super annoying drop to deal with. The 1 tank here is going to zone out so much. The Marines are stimming into the mineral line as well, trying to pick off SCVs. And how many did they kill? Total in workers killed is up to 31. Wow, that's a lot. I didn't know they'd kill that many this game. Cute micro going on over here as well. And if we look at the supply, it's 131 to 100 right now, so I definitely give the edge to our blue Archon. Oh, and the sick tank drop coming in as well. Tanks are just out of position to deal with this one, but gonna get into position mighty fast. Fourth base trying to be secured from our Terran, from our red Terran, but of course Trio and Wraith are still here dealing damage. And Hellions, I like the mech choice. Hellions are of course super good against Marines, but they can never really get close enough. The tanks are just too much for the Hellions to deal with, and they don't quite have the HP to tank all of it. Fourth base now up and running for Trio and Wraith. Look at this, the macro is looking stellar from our blue Archon. All the while doing a ton at the front and dropping it, etc. They're just macroing really well as well. So nice teamwork from these guys, really dividing all the work that needs to be done between the two of them, working with their strengths here. So overall supply 160 to 131, Harvesters 55 to 70. So blue Archon is ahead in basically every single way. They're mining a lot more. How are the upgrades looking? That's a bug, by the way, in case you don't know. I don't know why it's like that all the time. But we have +1, +1, +1. Pretty similar for all players. Since they're going mech, it's all +1, +1, +1, +1. Done pretty much. Looks like our red Archon is slowly pushing out of here though. Let's have a better look at this one. Yeah, but still a very nice tank line here from Trio and Wraith, our blue Archon. And the thing about tanks, when you drop them off, it takes them a second to fire. They don't fire instantly like they used to. It takes them like a second exactly, I think, to recharge and then actually shoot. So if you're trying to drop tanks into an already sieged up tank line, that's not going to work out for you. As you can see, it takes a few seconds for that tank to fire. What I'd like to see being added from Trio and Wraith is a couple of Vikings to really gain air superiority, which allows their tanks to deal so much more damage. As you can see, Theo and Remy now pushing back the tank line with just the one Viking. They managed to do just that. Income tab, we can see that Theo and Remy are keeping up relatively well, even though they're only on 3 bases. But as soon as they start mining out, as you can see, main is starting to get mined out, and so should the natural. They're going to fall behind very quickly in the income. And since Trio and Wraith are reinforcing their tank line so nicely, it's gonna take a while for Theo and Remy to actually break this. I don't know how they're going to. Hellbats, they need to be dropped, I think, if they're gonna get any damage done. But now Trio and Wraith are the ones with air superiority, so it's going to be very difficult for Theo and Remy. Ooh, but Thors, I didn't see this edition. That's the special edition Thor, by the way, from Wings of Liberty. That looks super sick. And Thors are good at breaking down tank lines. That's basically what they do. And they're really tanky. They don't take a whole lot of splash damage just because they're so big. But the... oh my god, the tech switch is already coming in. Battle cruiser operational coming in. So that's going to be 3 battle cruisers at a time. And battle cruisers are pretty darn good late game TvT. Oh, marine split. Oh, nice. That was nicely done. Couple of pings coming down here from all the players. Medevac going to pick up the SCV, perhaps? No, I don't know. It's an empty medevac, perhaps just to scout for a 4th. Because right now the only thing Tree and Wraith are worried about is a hidden 4th. They know they're ahead by denying this 4th base, but if there's a 4th over here, that means they're not even ahead. So they've scattered out now. They're like, okay, good. There's no hidden 4th. We're doing mighty fine, just keeping them here. Oh, he tried to be cute, loading up the tank, but the SCVs that were repairing it actually died. So, could have split up the SCVs as well there. Theo and Remy are about to max out as well, though. There you go, 195 supply to 197. And I guess this would be the best time for them to move out. Load up into the medevacs with a couple of Hellbats, perhaps try to drop as they move out with the Thors in the front, tanking a lot of that tank fire. But battle cruiser is here now. And the Thors are not the best against battle cruisers. They're gonna have to change over to that high impact payload. Do they even have that anymore? Did they remove high impact payload? I don't know. I haven't kept up that well with the Lakes and Void changes, but here we go. Theo and Remy trying to move out, sieging up the tanks, but the battle cruisers are here. And there's a whole lot of anti-air, actually. Medevac's now stimming in, or Marines rather, stimming in, trying to do what they can. But it looks like Theo and Remy are able to break through here. The Thors are given enough anti-air here to clean up the battlecruisers, even though one is super low on HP. Yamato Cannon coming off on the one Thor here, cleaning it up, but Trio and Wraith getting pushed back. But still, look at the income, 2200 to almost 1k there. So a nice lead here for Trio and Wraith. Using Yamato Cannons as well, really nice. Oh, gonna lose a couple of battlecruisers here to the Vikings. They are super low on HP, and they are super slow as well. But look at this, on the back of this, Trio and Wraith have spread themselves out everywhere on this map. They're mining from so many bases, which, you know, since they've made so many workers, they're pretty low on army, which is really unfortunate for them. And now Theo and Remy are going to be the ones applying pressure. Trio and Wraith, though, are still ahead in supply, but not ahead in the army. So what they need to do is trade cost effectively with these battlecruisers that are on the way. 3 of them about to pop in a couple of seconds. And this time I don't think the anti-air is going to be enough here. A couple of more Thors are reinforcing, but only 3 Thors to clean up like 5 battlecruisers. So what's it going to be? 4, as well as the tanks. It's going to be tricky for them. Keep in mind though, these Thors are well upgraded. The battlecruisers are not. So that could make a difference as well. But now Theo and Remy must be feeling mighty good. They've managed to secure their own 4th, and now they're cleaning up all of these bases of Trio and Wraith. And they can't really move out because of this tank line here. Really shutting them down. Should lift off the base, but they're producing an SCV, so they can't. The command center dies, but still they're mining from here. They can drop a ton of mules here later on, so I think they're fine losing just 1 base. Losing a couple of SCVs shouldn't be too bad because they had so many of them. They were up to 88, I think. Now it's 65, so they lost 23, which is going to allow them to produce a lot more of army supply. Now Trio and Wraith are once more pushing out here to try to deal some damage. Thors are here. Yamato Cannon is here though as well. The Viking count is increasing for Theo and Remy, which is very nice for them. They need a lot of Vikings to clean up these battlecruisers. Oh, pushing out a bit too far, I think, but the cruisers shouldn't be moving that far forward. Banshees coming in as well, a really lovely addition to clean up tanks. Scans needs to be dropped, and in the middle of a fight it can be really difficult to spot the Banshees. Now 112 supply to 130. We just recently had 200 against 200. No, both Archons have dropped in supply. And income wise, as Theo and Remy evacuated this base, they've dropped quickly in the income. But they have secured themselves a lot of bases on the back of it, so they should be fine, really. They have a lot of mules available to them. The Banshees go down. Theo and Remy, what I liked was the fact that they're building a ton of Vikings to clean up the battlecruisers, but they're not being produced anymore. There we go. 1 battlecruiser now coming in. But it would be really cool to see Trio and Wraith take switch out of this, force out a lot of Vikings with the battlecruisers, and then just build tanks or something else to really remove a lot of that Viking DPS. Because Vikings on the ground, come on, they're not that good. They're horrible, actually. Trio and Wraith once more moving out, and this time they managed to secure themselves quite a supply lead. And this could be a super cool siege position if they move up here right now. The scan just fades out as Trio and Wraith move up here with a lot of tanks. And how is Theo and Remy going to engage this? The high ground advantage is massive. What they can try to do is land Vikings on top of the tanks, but at the same time there are Hellbats there, and they can go out of siege mode if need be, going to tank mode. Right now the planetary could be in danger of dying, and look at this, as Theo and Remy try to get into a good position, they're taking a lot of fire from the tanks on the high ground, and the Thor just melts immediately. Marines and tanks coming in from the low ground as well to try to clean this one up. Tank count is down to 3 now. Battlecruisers coming in, trying to take the fight with the Vikings. The mounted cannons coming off. And that was not the best of engagements for the battlecruisers, but still Trio and Wraith pushing forward easily. And they're gonna clean up this planetary as well. Fortunately though for Remy and Theo, they have a lot more bases up and running, but so does this blue Archon, Trio and Wraith. Oh god, this is intense. Okay, let's have a look at... We have supply 100 to 166, so massive advantage on paper for our blue Archon. But nice counterattack coming out of Theo and Remy. What Try and Rate have done is they've been really greedy with these bases. No planetaries are set up, just pure orbital command to drop a ton of mules. But this allows for Hellions to come for run-bys like this to clean up a lot of SCVs. And nice SV splitting, that's pretty cool. But at the same time, Hellions are able to deal a lot of damage very quickly with that blue flame upgrade. Battlecruiser is now coming over to ravage this 4th base, dealing a lot of damage very quickly. But Theo and Remy are on top of it with the Vikings, so cleaning that up in the end. Non-special edition Thor doesn't look nearly as fancy as the other ones coming over. Oh, is the Viking count high enough? I don't know, man. Thor is at +3 attack right now. Yeah, the Vikings clean everything up, but the Thor is still left untouched. And let me tell you, Hellions are not the best counter to Thors. Just thought I'd mention that. How the Hellions get cleaned up very quickly. More Thors and Vikings reinforcing as well for Try and Rate. I think they want to go for the kill right now, but sending in a couple of units at a time is not going to be the way to do it. Army supply is 94 to 46, so they've got army somewhere. I just don't know where their army is. Here's a lot of it. A huge pile of army is on top of that. But Try and Rate looks like they may be able to break this position finally. Sieged up tank dealing a ton of damage with that +3 attack upgrade. Yamat Cannon cleaning up 2 of the tanks there with the Thor. Really nice. And if they can get this base, that's going to be a nice pickup for them. And really going to deplete a lot of the mining, I guess. There we go. And now the mining is left to this base. Only mining off of one base right now, while our Blue Archon is mining off of this base. Sort of over here. Gas off here. Minerals off here. Jesus, that was a lot of mules. Income is 2k to 1k roughly. So Try and Rate, they managed to secure themselves a nice lead very early on with that contain. And they've basically kept that lead since then. No planetary over here for Theo and Remix either. So the tank can get into a sieged up position very close to the mineral line to start dealing a lot of damage. Nice counterattack by the Hellions, but I don't think killing off SCVs is the way to go. It basically just allows for Try and Rate to build more army, since they're not going to be capping out at 200 as quickly. And one singular Thor walking over there to try to clean that one up. And I think it's going to be successful. Look at that, he looks down upon it when it's super close. That's pretty cute. Pretty cute. And now it's 58 supply to 162. The SV count is really low for our Red Archon. It's 9 harvesters to 48, which means their army should be okay, but 46 to 112 in the armor supply. Blue Archon can just move in basically from all sides and eventually clean this one up. Theo and Remy, though, I think they did a nice job with what they had. They were contained for way too long, so unfortunately they just ended up too far behind from the get-go. But they did a nice job with what they had, and the breakout was super cool. They actually won that fight pretty decisively, I think. But still, it's not going to be enough here. A command center gets cleaned up as Theo and Remix try to do what they can. Try to land over here to try to get some mining done. But Try and Rate, of course, are already here. Oh my god. Income 1600 to 0. Nada. Snip, snap. I don't know what that was. Vikings, though, coming in from Theo and Remix to try to clean up the mineral line, but Vikings from Try and Rate, this is the Viking off. And Theo and Remix taking the Viking off pretty decisively there. And land. There we go. Back to work. Only one Viking lands. 2 Vikings. That's enough to clean it up eventually. Now Try and Rate are about to max out their 187 supply as Theo and Remix make a final stand here. Lose their command center that was mining with a lot of mules. GG is called. Remix leaves the game and so does Theory. So I got the names. Yes, it's Theory and Remix. Okay, I hope you all enjoyed the cast. It was a really cool game, and it's nice to see Archon Mode really see what players can do when they work together. The micro was really nice, and so was the macro as well. So cool game. I want to see more, so please keep on uploading things to cast it. I love to take replays from there, but still, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.